boys on halftime up here. Woj is still here, Maria Taylor, we've got David Fizdale, and we've got Scott Perry, the GM for the Knicks. Basically just the Knicks here joining us. I would love to hear from you, Scott. You can wax and wane about your brand new head coach. Tell me what David brings to New York that you definitely wanted to have on your staff.
I mean, David brings an awful lot to us and our franchise. I mean, here's a guy who's spent years preparing for this opportunity to be a head coach. You know, he had a short run in Memphis. The guy's extremely intelligent. He knows the game. He's great at connecting with people. He comes with a very similar vision to what Steve Mills and I have put in place there in New York in terms of wanting to be a defensive first team, a team that plays with pace, team that plays together, team that plays with great pride each and every night. And we couldn't be happier than to have secured David.
I like that David just sits there and he's just like, yeah.
Exactly. I concur. we were talking earlier on the set with Jay and Bobby about, you know, the process of a head coach, especially a new head coach and a GM, coming here together. And I think, you know, I'm sure you guys are doing a lot of talking about what it is you want in players, who you like, and you start to learn about each other, don't you? And what your sensibilities are and the kind of guys you want to bring in.
Yeah, absolutely. And that was one of the things going through the interview process. It really came across very clear that we were similar in terms of how we saw the game, the type of players that we like. You know, we talk about having competitors only. You're going to hear a lot of that from this guy here. And that really resonated with me from my background in the game, and especially all the years that I spent in Detroit with those good teams there. And so in the time that David spent in Miami building those teams, very similar in terms of how they were put together and the fabric of those teams. And so it spent a lot of time these first 2 days during the interview process. It's been a real joy, and we've learned even more about one another, and just looking forward to many more days.
And this is the first time I've ever gone through this process as a coach, and so for them to include me and educate me and show me really how they analyze players, how they go through their process to get to the guy that they want, it's been huge for me. It's going to help me in player development. It's going to help me in building the culture out. So it's been a great learning process.
A big part of that, building the culture and having competitors first, is obviously Kristaps Porzingis and building that relationship. How do you plan on going about that?
Step by step. I won't skip a step. You know, I'm going to spend a ton of time with he and his family. You know, I want to hear, you know, their experience, you know, and what they see going forward for Kristaps, and how I can, you know, interject and help him in any way become what I think he can be, which is an MVP caliber player. And so part of that goes along with winning, and I know that's what he's ready to do. And so I want to make sure that they see from my standpoint that we're connected, that the vision is the same, that we want the same culture, and that we all have the same thing in mind, which is eventually holding the trophy in New York.
Drafting ninth, you know, it's a spot. You look through history, there's always a player or two that drops and gets to you, and you go, hey, I didn't expect that guy to be there. It's like the wing is certainly, you know, Mikal Bridges from Villanova, the wing position. There'll be some really good guards available where you are. But is your program still in the place, Scott, where it may still be best available versus position?
Well, I think, you know, I've said this a lot back home in New York, that we're still in that talent acquisition phase. Obviously, it's no secret that we could use some more help at the wing position. And so when we get down to the ninth pick, at the end of the day, we're going to pick the very best player. Now, if it happens to be a wing, then so be it. If not, if there's a clear delineation at another position in terms of talent, then we'll probably opt to go that direction and get the very best talent we can get.
What I love about your story, Scott, is that the experience that you have. So we can go back to the Pistons. When you first showed up, they were 32-50. Then you go to 2 NBA Finals. You win a championship in 2004. I mean, what did you learn during that process that you could maybe emulate or do at New York to get back to where you want to be?
I learned that you really have to just stick to what you really believe in. And that was, you know, I mean, Joe Dumars, who was the leader of that organization at that time, learned a ton from him in that. You know, stand by your convictions. And our foundation was going to be built on toughness, on defense, and a team-first mentality. And we stuck with it. And so we drafted, traded, and sign free agents who fit that mold. And that's what we intend to do here in New York.
I think, Fizz and Scott, you've seen this in recent years. I mean, there was a time where big players all wanted to play in New York. They wanted to play in LA or Chicago. And that hasn't happened in free agency over the last years. Guys really picked programs. When you look at what it's going to take to make your franchise attractive, maybe not this summer 2018, but 2019, 2020, what are the couple things that you say, we've got to get this better to earn the right to sit down at the table with the big free agents?
Well, I think we just continue. We got to live the culture daily. We got to show the entire league, all the players and fans and everyone who's involved, that this is an organization that's headed in the right direction. We're building the sustainable foundation for winning. And I think they're going to see that in how we go about our work each and every day. And this guy, David, is going to be a big part in helping lead our franchise in that direction.
Yeah, and once they see that we're doing it the right way, I really believe between Scott and my relationships throughout this league and you know, really trying to build a great reputation around our city and have that city behind us, we'll start recruiting the right kind of free agents.
One more question before you guys leave. How many pennies are in $1 million? Julius said that was the toughest question he was asked at the NBA Combine.
I don't have the answer necessarily.
We asked the questions at the Combine. I don't answer exactly.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for joining us, David Fizdale, Scott Perry. We got the inside look at the New York Knicks and their expectations.